Alright guys, so we are on to the next episode of Dragon Ball Super. Now we are on to episode 100. This is a huge milestone episode. Hopefully, because of that, Toei Animation doesn't just randomly copyright strike me again. But anyway, this episode is called Out of Control, The Savage Berserker Awakens. So real quick, before we get into anything, I made a mistake. Immediately after watching the episode, I decided to peek into Twitter a little bit, only to see that everyone has seen that GIF by now. I think it's from the show Community, where Donald Glover, he opens the door and walks in the apartment, and like the apartment is on fire. Like, that was me going into Twitter, like, oh, hello, the Twitter, my timeline is on fire right now. Listen, guys, okay. Just because Goku is Super Saiyan Blue does not mean he cannot hold back his power. Okay, we have to discuss this right out of the gate because people misinterpret this so much. Now, I particularly didn't like that Krillin had a Kamehameha clash with Super Saiyan Blue Goku, but remember, just because Goku is in his, what we know as of right now, his strongest form, that does not mean that he's going full tilt. He's capable of holding back. I would remind everyone to head back to the Saiyan saga, when Goku and Gohan were in their full-powered Super Saiyan forms in the break between when they finished their training in the Room of Spirit and Time, and when the Cell games were going to start. And remember, they were breaking, Chi-Chi's glasses and stuff, they were struggling to kind of hold their power at bay while also do like everyday tasks. Like, remember, these characters are capable of destroying planets like with their hands. Like, they're always holding back. So Goku can go Super Saiyan Blue, and what happens in this episode is he's fighting Kale. He hits Kale with a Kamehameha, and Kale walks through it and dusts Goku. Now, remember, guys, Kale is, we can't even really call her an homage character to Broly because she is literally just Broly. But that scene, it's supposed to be the scene from the first Broly movie when Super Saiyan Goku, pulls out that Kamehameha and Broly is standing right there and then just kind of goes straight through it and fucks Goku up. That's what this was intended to be. Now, just because Goku was Super Saiyan Blue there does not mean he was going 100% max tilt and Kale just, completely just didn't even give a shit. Alright, just because Goku was Super Saiyan Blue, again, does not mean he was fighting at full power. And the line of dialogue he uses that is very telling to me is, just before that, Goku had been fighting Kale at Super Saiyan 2, and he transforms into blue and says, I'll use more power. He doesn't say all of my power. He doesn't say my full power. He says, I'll use more power. So just keep this in mind, guys, because, Goku fighting 17, Goku fighting Krillin, Goku being able to fight Caulifla, it's not plot holes. It's Goku is holding back. This is something Goku has done since the beginning of the series. This is not new. Goku does not go full tilt from the start of the fight. They even reference that when Goku fought Goku Black for the first time, and Trunks is like, what the fuck is this man doing? Why isn't he using that form, Super Saiyan 3, he just beat my ass with? And, Vegeta's kind of, that's a bad habit of Kakarot's. So, come on, guys. We got it. There were no plot holes in this episode, and there's really, to be honest, nothing to be upset about either. Now, the episode opens up with Universe 7 really coming to terms with the fact that Krillin was defeated. We see 17 kind of looking down on him a little bit. We see 18 upset with him. Tien and Master Roshi give their thoughts. Just really everyone come to terms with the fact that one of the Universe 7 fighters has been defeated. Now, Champa begins to kind of goad Beerus and be like, oh, Universe 7 is fucked. And he goes, oh, look, another one is about to be defeated. And the camera goes down and we see Vegeta is still fighting Boda Magetta. Remember, Batamo sitting on top of Magetta covering his ears. So it is kind of like actually a powerful combo. Vegeta is struggling with them. And he there's like smoke everywhere. I do like that they're kind of like doing this because, all these episodes are just like on this one spot. You know, we're fighting on this one ring. We've got the same background, but they've done some interesting things. Like right now, there's just smoke everywhere during this scene. You know, in previous scenes, we saw explosions all over the background. Later on in this episode, Kale kind of makes it so that, like, you know, there's almost like craters in the ring. You know, it's very interesting. That's the type of stuff to do to really, like, I don't know, draw the viewer in a little bit more rather than just, you know, fighting on that same flat surface. Because remember, you know, the characters are not able to fly during this tournament. Now, Cabba calls out to Vegeta and, you know, he said, "Oh, master." And Vegeta looks back and Cabba is walking towards Vegeta. And Cabba, in his base form, you know, two guys rush at him and he knocks them both out. They drop out of the tournament of power. Now, one of them is this red guy. I'm not too familiar with who he is. But the other one is one of the robot fuckers who, remember, again, Dragon Ball Super now has done this weird thing a lot where it, like, will suck a character off, but that doesn't, like, lead into anything. Like, just because we saw, like, you know, backstory about that character, you know, that character performing certain feats and stuff, it doesn't matter. Like, this is a guy who had, like, you know, what was that? Almost like a 2-minute long scene. This robot guy and then Narirama or whatever his name is. Like, those two robot guys, we saw, like, a lot of, like, almost build-up, setup for that. And they just got absolutely fucking bodied. Like, I mean, Basil kind of put in work on that robot guy in the first episode of Tournament of Power. So, I mean, I do kind of like that again, you know, I talked about this a little last time, that, like, you can't really predict what's going to happen based upon, like, normal tropes like that. Because, like, usually it's like, okay, they focus on this character like this. So what that means is that, you know, we're going to get an extended look at that character probably during, like, the big, you know, climactic tournament. But, like, they've set things up, but there's been no, like, you know, payoff or no continuation of that, which has been a little odd, but I'm okay with that. I want to see how the tournament plays out, obviously, before I give a final opinion on a lot of the various scenes and stuff, because I do think all of the build up to the Tournament of Power was needed, it was necessary, and it was good. But based upon how the tournament itself plays out, there's a possibility that maybe some of those earlier episodes could be cheapened. We'll see. Now, the last thing we see in this scene is Cabba actually does go Super Saiyan. So Cabba and Vegeta are about to fight. Now, I don't know. I was a little disappointed at this because we already saw Vegeta versus Cabba. I mean, unless Cabba has, like, a new transformation or something really cool, new that he can do, like, I didn't really care too much about seeing the two of them face off, but we don't see a lot of it. Now, it also then shows Hit actually removing the other robot guy. What's his name? It's Narirama. Yeah, Narirama. Something like that. It's very difficult for me to say. I don't know. Like, all the N's and the R's, it's tough for me to actually get that out, but Hit actually uses his time skip and knocks the fighter, you know, Narirama out of the ring, so he's done. I will say, too, it was great seeing Hit back on the screen because Hit really is cool. Like, you know, a lot of people have been telling me that in Dokkan, like, they need to make an LR Hit, which, you know, for people who don't play Dokkan, you know, that would be like the, you know, the strongest tier of unit they could make for Hit. And I've always said, like, Hit is not really iconic enough to really merit that, but he is so fucking cool. He tells Narirama right before knocking him off, you have two choices. Either you could jump off or I'll knock you out myself. And, like, his voice is so perfect. I do really, really like Hit. And, you know, there are some things I really would like to see Hit do in this tournament before he's defeated. But we'll see what happens. Now, the scene cuts over to Kale being, I mean, listen, you Japanese perverts can't slide this shit past me. I don't give a fuck. This is basically a hentai scene where two of these damn warriors from other universes are kind of, like, beating on Kale. Like, one dude, like, picks her up. It's the sumo wrestler we saw from previous episodes. And this other, like, red, almost like, you know, Dr. Zoidberg looking motherfucker is kind of, like, punching Kale and stuff. And literally, I'm sitting here looking like, you know, Like, for real, if this was like a hentai, like, this scene would be, like, he wouldn't be punching her, if you catch my drift. Like, you know, they think they can slide this shit in here past me? Like, no, bro, okay? My eyes, I see everything, okay? Toei Animation, all right? I got you. Now, they go to remove Kale from the ring, like, they toss her away, and Caulifla actually flies in and saves Kale. I was actually a little surprised when the scene started that Caulifla wasn't already by her side, but whatever. Then, Caulifla goes Super Saiyan and absolutely just wrecks these two fuckers in no time flat. It is very cool. Obviously, I do like seeing Caulifla, you know, in her Super Saiyan form, fighting and doing all this shit. Very, very cool. Again, they have some discussion, and another misconception I still see. It's incredible how these misconceptions, like, continue to stay alive, even though everyone is trying to, like, fix it. Kale and Caulifla are not actually sisters, okay? Kale calls her Onesan, but that doesn't, okay, like, again, I've said this before, but, like, Naruto called, like, Haku Onichan, like, you know, brother or whatever. Like, Haku and Naruto are not blood fucking brothers. Like, Kale calls Caulifla sis, but it's not, like, literal sister. You know, and Caulifla, she never stops saying that Kale is her protege. So, guys, you know, try and keep this in mind. Now, the next thing, again, you know, we've done a lot of discussion already about Dragon Ball Super, you know, kind of building a character up only to knock him out for 2 seconds. Now, Caulifla, you know, kind of, you know, Kale wakes up. Caulifla's like, all right, let's go get this guy over here. And the camera pans up, and we see Goku standing off with the Yardrat fighter that we saw previously. Remember, Goku and Vegeta even called out that was a Yardrat, and he will be capable of doing the instant transmission technique. Now, I saw tons of, like, YouTube videos about this, like, oh, this Yardrat, all these theories and stuff, and, like, you know, the show itself almost did seem to kind of build him up a little bit. And he's using the instant transmission around Goku, and Caulifla just comes out of nowhere and just one-shots him, and he goes off the ring and he's done. And I'm like, what? Like, they've done that for 3 separate characters in this episode alone, of characters who I thought would actually get some screen time only to instantly be bodied. So, looks like we are beginning to get to the meat of the Tournament of Power. A lot of the kind of filler characters are getting dropped out relatively quickly now. So Caulifla then starts talking to Goku, and she asks Goku to teach her how to transform into that Super Saiyan of a color she had never seen before, which, remember, Goku and Vegeta had gone Super Saiyan Blue to defeat the Trio of Dangers. They didn't need to do that, but obviously that was just set up for this. Now, Caulifla then says, teach me, and as thanks, I'll change into the blue thing and beat your ass. And it's funny because Kale goes, well, that's not really a good way of saying thanks, but I'm sitting here thinking, like, yo, like, that's exactly what Goku would most want. Either to you then to get ridiculously powerful and give him a good fight, or give him food. Like, Caulifla literally said the perfect thing to get Goku to actually, you know, try and teach her, which is awesome. Now, again, obviously, I mean, anyone really thinking could have figured that Caulifla wasn't instantly going to go Super Saiyan Blue in this episode. And again, it doesn't look like we're going to see it in the Tournament of Power, but I do still think that door is open for the future. You know, we'll see what happens with Eliminated Universes, but I wouldn't be shocked or surprised if in the future Caulifla does actually go into Super Saiyan Blue form. All right, so Caulifla tells Kale to transform, and they're going to both body Goku. Now, obviously, Kale is not able to actually undergo her transformation. No shocker there. Now, Goku tells Caulifla she's not ready for Super Saiyan Blue, so Caulifla decides that, you know, she's like, okay, well, check this out. This is awesome. And she actually busts out, you know, the Super Vegeta or Super Trunks, you know, kind of variant of the Super Saiyan transformation. You know, you could also go grade 2, grade 3, whatever. Super Vegeta was grade 2. Super Trunks was grade 3. Now, here's the thing, okay? We saw this image be leaked a couple days back. And, you know, people were losing their mind, and I had to make a video again and say, guys, it's not a big deal. It's obvious what she's doing. She's just, you know, doing the Super Caulifla transformation, you know, that transformation from the Cell games. Sure enough, that's exactly what it is. Caulifla rushes in to try and attack Goku, and Goku, like, they really make sure that you see that Goku effortlessly dodges Caulifla's attacks, and Caulifla's like, what the fuck? And Goku says, well, you sacrificed your speed for power, and then he begins to explain why that form is not good for fighting, and also for long fights as well. And it's great because he says, what you should be aiming for is this, and he actually goes Super Saiyan 2. Now, Caulifla recognizes Super Saiyan 2, and she does say that, I did that once, but I've been having trouble doing it again. And, she asked Goku, she's like, the tinkly back thing, should I just focus on that some more? And Goku just goes, well, something like that. And, of course, Caulifla then goes Super Saiyan 2. It doesn't take her very long. She's already done this before. I'm sure tons of people are going to be upset about this again because so many people had trouble accepting the fact that Caulifla was Super Saiyan 2 the first time. Obviously, I haven't really delved too deep into, Twitter and stuff, but I'm sure people are going to be really upset about this. Honestly, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, remember, don't forget, everyone, if you want to say that, Caulifla and them are invalidating, Goku's growth, never forget that, 9-year-old Gohan or 10-year-old Gohan, he actually invalidated Goku's growth by becoming stronger than Goku as a child and going Super Saiyan 2 before Goku did. So, don't be so upset by Caulifla and, even Goten and Trunks at the end of Dragon Ball Z, because Gohan did it first, and everyone rushes over themselves to suck Gohan off for how awesome, that showing was during the Cell games. But don't forget, it's kind of similar stuff to what Caulifla and them are doing, where they're catching up remarkably quickly. Now, this next line was the best. Goku's impressed and is like, oh, wow, okay, you did that. You'll be able to get Super Saiyan 3. Now, he says, you might actually reach Super Saiyan 3 in this fight. I was like, oh, no. They're actually gonna do that. You're shitting me. I was like, yes. People, if Caulifla went Super Saiyan 3, people would be so mad. I would be dying laughing. And I was saying, I didn't think Caulifla would go Super Saiyan Blue during the tournament, but, if she would go, Super Saiyan 3, that would make more sense, and that would be pretty cool. And the fact that they had Goku say that, yeah. So, Caulifla and Goku have, a really interesting looking, Super Saiyan 2 battle. They're both squaring off in their Super Saiyan 2 forms. I really enjoyed it. Nice looking fight and everything. Now, Kale is on the sideline, and, she kind of wants to help Caulifla out. So she goes to shoot a little energy blast, and it's pretty weak. Goku easily knocks it away and says, oh, could you not bother us over there? And Kale looks over to Caulifla, and, she's, oh, nay, son. I'm not a bother, am I? And Caulifla just looks over at Goku and continues fighting. And we see a pretty cool transformation scene where we see we see Kale, begin to cry a little bit. And, she kind of gets mad at herself. And, then very quickly, she's, oh, Son Goku. And she transforms into the Berserker Super Saiyan state. Very, very cool. She said, you took my sis from me. I won't forgive you. Transforms. I'm glad that they did not use the stock footage from, not stock, but the footage from before. They actually did make it a different, transformation scene this time, which was cool. I wouldn't have been really upset about that, but it's cool that they actually did decide to make, a new one. Now, here's what's interesting. I was sitting here gripping my seat for a second, because I was like, I swear, if Goku or Vegeta mention, oh shit, she's like Broly, yo, YouTube, Twitter, the community, everything would explode. Everyone would go absolutely nuts if they mention Broly in any way whatsoever. But they didn't. They didn't actually do that. I was waiting for it. I was like, yo, go ahead. Dragon Ball Super really fuck us up again. Go ahead, fam. Just fuck my life up. Do it. But no, they didn't. Now, a lot of fighters around the ring actually sense Kale's transformation. Now, based upon this, and the fact that she does tank a Super Saiyan Blue Kamehameha from Goku, excuse me, shows that her power is definitely like really high. Like, I'm not a fucking power scaler. I'm not going to be able to get an exact range for exactly, how strong Kale is. But, she is definitely on that really high tier because we see the way all of the fighters react to her hit and everyone, along those lines. Now, Kale charges at Goku and she just does not stop. Throughout the rest of the episode, she only says one thing, and that's Son Goku. I really wish we would not have repeated this aspect of Broly. This was the worst part of Broly to me. I understand, she's a berserker, she's out of her mind, she's losing control. But for her just to say Son Goku, she says Son Goku, seriously, no bullshit. On the 14th fucking time she said Son Goku, I was like, okay, we got it now, okay? Son Goku. Yes, you hate Goku. I know, we did not, this is the one part of Broly we did not need to ape. We did not need to mimic this part. We already got it. Everything else is fine. Please, in future episodes, let's not have her just do this over and over and over again. Now, in the process of Kale actually rushing at Goku, Caulifla actually gets knocked back, and it looks like she's about to be eliminated, but Hit uses his time skip to actually save Caulifla, so that was pretty cool. Now, Vegeta actually mentions, what is that fucking sinister form? And he actually says that could be the Saiyan's true form. He tells that to Goku. So, what the fuck that means, who knows? I was thinking that they were going to kind of market this, not really as Legendary Super Saiyan, but as Berserker Super Saiyan. And I knew that some of the Kale toys are actually labeled in this way as well. So I thought we were moving away from Legendary Super Saiyan, but Vegeta's talking here does maybe sort of indicate no, just because they're calling it something different does not mean that they're still kind of, not marketing, talking about it, whatever, as the Legendary Super Saiyan transformation. Now, Kale kind of gives Super Saiyan 2 Goku the business from this point on. She kind of does a lot of the stuff that we saw Broly do. She grabs Goku by the face and kind of drags him through the ground. She's using similar attacks to Broly, shooting blasts at Goku, knocking him back. She hits Goku back, he crashes into debris, and the debris goes away, the smoke clears, and we see Goku transform into Super Saiyan Blue. And again, he says, I'm going to use more power now. He does not say full power. And he charges up a Kamehameha, shoots it at Kale, and Kale walks through it and hits Goku. Again, Goku clearly was not using full power here, but, she stops her assault on Goku, and it looks like Gohan, we see Gohan and Piccolo, and Gohan is kind of oh, fuck, father, and Piccolo's like, wait. Kale, there's something wrong. She can't control her power. And we saw this thing, with Broly from the first movie, the thing that people really strongly misinterpreted, where they thought Broly was saying he has infinite ki, but it's more this form, their ki just kind of is rapidly growing and growing and growing, and it reaches a point where their body can't contain it anymore, so they kind of need to let a bunch of it loose. So Kale kind of lets out just a barrage of energy blasts that just hit the entire arena. It knocks out a ton of fighters. I believe Boda Magetta might have been KO'd as well, but it was hard to tell exactly which fighters were knocked out and which fighters might have just been hit hard by Kale's barrage. But it was cool. Again, not really an homage to Broly. She literally is just fucking Broly. It's not even, it's oh, that's very Broly-like. It's no, she did the same fucking thing Broly did. Then one of the Pride Troopers actually tries to take Kale down. His name is Vuan. Kind of a very Chrono Trigger-esque design. I would have to bet Toriyama designed this guy, because again, he kind of looks like a reptite from Chrono Trigger. Remember, Toriyama was the the character designer for that game, way back in the early 90s. And Vuan actually uses Wonder Woman's lasso. He calls it the Justice Whip. and he tosses it around Kale, but Kale just breaks that shit and actually knocks Vuan out. And we do get confirmation that Vuan is defeated because we see Zeno-sama actually, take him out on the, the God Pad. Now we see a bunch of the other Pride Troopers standing there in formation, and Jiren steps down and says, I'll take care of this. And right as soon as Jiren said, I'll take care of this, my balls got so tight. I was like, okay, here we go. Finally. Fucking finally. Now we get to see this man, Jiren, has had maybe the most hype, the most build up for a character in Dragon Ball in a long time. Because again, we found out about Goku Black, maybe 3 or 4 weeks before he first showed up? Maybe not even that long. Jiren? Bro, Jiren has been known for about 5 months now. We've been seeing Jiren go toe-to-toe with Goku in the opening for about 5 fucking months. We are ready for this. Now, Caulifla calls out to Kale, and it looks like Kale is flying back over to Caulifla, and Jiren comes in, shoots this red blast at Kale, and absolutely, again, keep in mind, all right, it's very difficult to do, like, a true scale of what's going on with Goku, considering, obviously he's holding back his power. I'm fairly certain he will have a new form, or new, like, sort of, I don't, like, okay, like, the Limit Breaker Goku or whatever, I'm almost positive that's going to be a real thing. So obviously, just the fact that he was in Super Saiyan Blue probably doesn't mean that much going against Kale, even though he was probably dramatically holding back his power. Now, we saw Kale walk through Goku's Kamehameha. Jiren's blast absolutely takes Kale off screen. Like, it's kind of like, remember when Boo hit Gohan with that blast, and it's just kind of like, okay, bye, fucker, you're gone. Like, you're a million miles away in an instant. That's kind of what Jiren does with Kale here, and it is so sick, because he turns around, crosses his arms, says it's over, and then the blast explodes. I was like, yo, okay, yeah, that's how you build up a character right there. That's how you do it. Now, what is surprising about that, though, is Kale is not actually eliminated. She actually falls back down to the ring, and Caulifla catches her. So Kale's not eliminated. She's still in the Turn of Power. Then, again, like, they could not get me any more, like, ready. Like, then, you know how Hit stands? He's got his hands in his pockets. Hit goes, oh, Kisama. Basically calling Jiren, like, a bastard. What is it, like a informal you, I think is the proper way to say it, but like, when they bust out Kisama, it's like, uh-oh, Hit takes his hands out of his pockets, and then Jiren versus Hit, stare down. I stood up, I was like, oh my god, yes, this is what the fuck I'm talking about. I am so fucking ready. But then, someone jumps in, and but previously, it's like people have jumped in, and I'm like, oh, fuck you. But this time, the person who interrupts Hit and Jiren is Goku. And the episode ends with Goku and Jiren having a standoff, staring each other down. Hit, Caulifla, and Kale actually back out at that point. But that's how the episode ends, with the possibility of Goku versus Jiren on the horizon. All in all, this was a very good episode. I foresee a lot of bitching about it, a lot of complaining about this episode, but if you want to complain, you're going to find things to complain about. Myself, this all made sense. It was all fine. This is all, based on rules, we've had in previous, episodes of Dragon Ball Super, whatever. Everything made sense here. So again, if you've got a problem really with a lot of the stuff that's happening in this episode, then it makes me think you're looking for a problem. All right, stuff I have problems with is stuff that really, really, really strongly contradicts what we've seen in previous episodes of Dragon Ball. Like, the infamous one that I'm still mad about is, Kaioshin telling us that in Universe 7 there's only 28 mortal planets with life, even though that literally makes no fucking goddamn sense. And we've seen 500 million pieces of evidence that, that directly contradicts that. That's something that gets me hot. Caulifla going Super Saiyan in 5 seconds, Caulifla going Super Saiyan 2, Goku, being tanked by Kale. None of those things bother me. It's all drama. It's all setup, character development. Well, guys, would you rather Goku have one-shotted Caulifla? Come on. Stop it. Would you rather Goku have just bitched Caulifla down and she's done from the tournament in 5 seconds? No. No, come on. All in all, good episode. Good episode.